real quick, I wanted to demonstrate or show what's happening on this lawn. I've gotten the edge, even though this is just a real rough installment of street where it doesn't have a real great edge. I've managed to get one carved in, and then I would keep blowing back. See where it's darker? That's where it was out to. And then I keep blowing back that little particles of limestone, and in the deeper part I let the heavier seed and stuff settle in there. And then of course when it rains, that extra moisture coming off the crown of the road helps get under that soil there. But on the hardscape, on the actual concrete surfaces, there's a bad thing happening from me over edging it basically, and you may not be able to see it now because I've blown off and kind of filled it back in with dirt, and that the gap was getting too wide. And I think it was because I've been doing blade edge, this is every time I mow, blade edging, then down a down line, so running string trimmer on the vertical because so many grasses on this edge were growing in from the side, and a topping pass, and all of that ended up causing it to be wider. And it could be too because I was trying to go deeper. It could be the gearbox, this part of the gearbox was slipping over the side of the concrete, and then that was pushing the blade out to that much wider. The problem with it is then you lose the benefit of that channel in two functions at least. And I'll start with the function that's speculative, or it could go either way. It's arguable, I guess. The first one is a phenolithic spacer, the gap, like on automotive performance application where you're trying to isolate heat from the engine block in the intake. You put a material that does not conduct heat very well between to separate and isolate so you don't have thermal. So that subjectively, I say you still have that gap, but the problem is if the gap's too wide, there's a channel of sand in the bottom that heats up as much as the concrete, so you don't really get the benefit. Now the other two that I think is inarguably deficit in having that wide channel is the composting, for one, and well, percolation you'd still have because you got a channel where that water's going to lay, it's going to go in there. But composting is the one thing that you're going to lose, and because if you got too much light in there, then it can't hold the moisture long enough that when you blow in some of the clippings and the seed, I try to feather out where some clippings, like if I got limestone, I don't want to pack it right back in the groove. I'll hit it hard enough with the blower that it skips over the top and it lays out here in the first 2-foot apron. And then usually that benefits the lawn because it's just like liming it. But so you lose percolation, or not percolation, compost, because the channel's too wide to hold moisture long enough to break down the clippings, and then you lose the benefit of top dressing. So because it doesn't compost, the next time when you run the blade, that the soil it's throwing up behind the edger blade isn't as nutrient dense as it could have been if that past week it was deep and dark channel. You see what I'm saying? And then on the rest of, so this time I did not do the down line, the vertical string. See, so perhaps I shouldn't have been doing that anyway, but I wanted to get a good impression from the street so I can get market share. So on the edges on the house, I just started doing this channel with the blade. That way when I string trim, it's not smacking the paint. And over here I can't, because they put rock. And then along here you can see, of course, the benefit. I think that looks really good. I think having that type of scenario versus landscape borders that are not maintained, this is a better impression from pretty much any perspective. I always like to drive by when I'm leaving out of a neighborhood. I did a few more down this way. Boy, that's pretty, isn't it, for a non-irrigated, non-fertilized lawn. I'm proud of my work, and that's why I put in the extra effort. But I also do it for the health advantages for me and the customer and the lawn. All right, y'all have a good day.